Rather as retro here, and I hope everyone is remaining retro. Today's video is going to be about favorite sports games. So essentially, it's 10 different sports, and for each sport, I have selected my favorite game. As you guys know on my channel, it comes down to memories. So it's not necessarily me saying that these are the best games. For each of these sports, but it's more like which I've had the best memories with. So when it comes to hockey, this is very tough because there's so many great games and a lot of great games that I had great memories with. But I have to go with NHL 2004 simply because I think it's the one I've played the most. And it's a good game. It's a really good game. If you're a hockey fan or even a sports fan and you've never played it, I would definitely recommend it. You can't go wrong. It looks great. It plays well. I love the controls in this one. I believe it's the first NHL game that had the dynasty mode. It also, I believe, included the European teams or European clubs for the first time. And there was a lot of great modes that you can play. It had a pretty awesome soundtrack as well. And like I said, it was just a game I spent a lot of time playing. It wasn't one that I played a lot with family or friends because my family, they're not into hockey. It was more a game that I played by myself, but I enjoyed it a lot and I would recommend it to, again, any hockey or sports fan. Next, we come to golf. And when it comes to golf, I think I've only played two golf games in my life. But I'm going to go with this one, Wiley Country Club True Golf Classics, simply because I remember renting this one and I was sick from school for about 2 days. So I had 2 days to just stay at home and game. And essentially, this was the game that I was playing. And it was all right. I remember. I mean, it was pretty fun. I'm sure there's other golf games that are better, but it's not a bad game. It was pretty decent from what I recall, and it helped me get by those 2 days essentially. So that's not something that that's not something that I'll ever forget. Essentially, um, but that's my favorite golf game or golf game memory. Next, we come to boxing. Now, this one is tough too because there's a lot of great boxing games, and I love boxing games. But I'm gonna have to go with Ready to Rumble Round Two. This game was just fantastic, very arcade style, very fun. Um, Anyone can get into it, in my opinion. And for me, the thing that really stood out was the roster, the characters. They were just awesome, over the top. I loved everything about it. The only thing is, I think I had a bit of trouble with this one. It took a bit of time for me to get used to, but I remember playing this quite a bit with Sean, with myself, and it was always a good time. I always enjoyed playing this, and I still do today. I would definitely recommend this to any gaming fan because I think you can definitely have a good time with this one. Next, we come to a sport that I have a lot of love for, which is cricket. And in terms of cricket, there's a lot of great cricket games, but I have to go with Super International Cricket just because it looks great, it sounds great. It actually plays like a good cricket game, even for something that came out on the Super Nintendo. Like this is done really well. I love the little cutscenes that you see there, the Empire's voice, when he says no ball or 4 runs or whatever. Um, yeah, I believe you can select 9 different test playing nations. There's a lot of different modes. This is a game that's very fun to play with people, but you can also enjoy it yourself. It's not one that I played with Sean. He wasn't into cricket, so it was more a game that I played by myself. If you like cricket or have some knowledge of cricket, then I would recommend the game. But if you don't know anything about cricket or never played cricket, I wouldn't recommend it just because it could probably be a little confusing and you won't have any idea of what's going on. And I think the most important thing to enjoy a sports game is to have some sort of knowledge or some sort of idea of what's going on. Next, we come to volleyball. Now, I don't have a lot of volleyball game experience. I think I played maybe two or three, but in this case, I'm going to go with Hyper V Ball, just because I remember playing this at a family friend's house. We were there for about 2 or 3 hours. We had to kill some time, and basically that's what we did. We played this, and I think there was another game we played as well. But I remember we spent some good amount of time playing this one, just because we were playing it amongst each other, and it can get a little competitive. I wasn't very good at it from what I recall, but for a volleyball game, it looked pretty good. It felt like a realistic volleyball game for its time. So I would definitely recommend it. Next, we come to basketball. Now, basketball is very hard because there's so many great basketball games, but I have to go with NBA Inside Drive 2003 on the Xbox original because one, I own this game and I played it a lot with my brother Sean. We love this game so much. We had a lot of fun. He would usually beat me in this particular game, but I've always enjoyed it regardless. Sometimes we'd go one on one, or sometimes we'd be on the same team. It looks great. It plays great. It's pretty realistic. The commentating in this one is pretty funny. And if you like basketball or sports games, then I would recommend it. Honorable mention NBA Jam, obviously, and I have to also say and one basketball. That's also a really good basketball game as well. But a lot of great memories with this one, and I would strongly recommend it. A really underrated basketball game, in my opinion. To be very honest. Next, we come to another great sport, but not a sport that I particularly follow myself. I do enjoy the video games, and that's football. I'm gonna have to go with Tecmo Super Bowl. I will say honorable mention Arena Football and NFL Fever 2003. But with Tecmo Super Bowl, man, I mean this is a classic. It's such a fun game. It's not too hard to pick up and play either. I've always enjoyed playing this with somebody, whether it's a friend or family. I think this game is best enjoyed when it's two players. The cutscenes are great. The playbook there, selecting the plays was always fun and always got me pumped up. Although I wouldn't always know exactly what I'm doing because I don't know much about football. But if you're somebody like me that doesn't know much about football or doesn't know anything about American football, I would still recommend it because this is a really fun game, especially if you're a retro lover. You need to give this one a try, and I would even recommend having this in your collection, just because it's a classic, and a lot of people have a lot of love for that particular game. Next, we come to baseball. Again, another sport I haven't played too many games of, but I'm going to have to go with MLB Slugfest 2003 simply just because it is great. It is arcadey. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's a little over the top, and the commentating in this one is hilarious. The two commentators, like they're back and forth. It's like one of the best commentatings I've ever heard. It's just so funny. But the game itself is really good. I love the fact that you can punch, your opponents, and I think it's a game that a lot of people can enjoy, whether you like baseball or not. Arcade style sports games, you can never go wrong, and they're always a good time. Next, we're going to come to tennis, and we got to go with Mario Tennis, although I got to give a shout out to Virtua Tennis and Topspin because those are great tennis games as well. But I mean, in terms of memories, I've had too many memories with this one, with Sean, with my sister, with friends, even just me playing by myself, and of course with my father, who actually ended up playing this with me for 1 minute once, and I will never forget that. Recommend this to anybody. You don't have to be a sports lover, a Mario lover, a tennis lover. It's a fun game. It's always a good time, and an all-time classic. And I was very grateful that I got to own this title. Next, we come to soccer, which is actually my favorite in terms of sports games. I have played a lot of soccer games, and there's a lot of great ones, and I always enjoy them. But I'm gonna have to go with World Soccer Winning 11-9 on the Xbox original. So much time spent on this game. You have no idea. The only thing I don't like about the game is that not all the teams are licensed. But aside from that, the way it plays, the way it looks, the way it feels, it's fantastic. So let me know what you guys think. And of course, always remain retro.